Hello everybody, Keith here again. I've got to do a couple of Phalaenopsis repots. The one on the left is Mini Mark, the one on the right is what used to be Doritis and what is now Phalaenopsis pulcherrima, the white variety. And the problem I've got is I am suffering the worst mealy bug outbreak amongst my orchids that I've ever had, and it seems to have started with the pulcherrima. I took that to a show last year and it came back, or it went to a show last year and it came back with mealy bugs, and I've been struggling to get rid of it ever since. It's been sprayed umpteen times. It's nothing like the plant that it was, and it's time, I think we gave it a real good looking at. It's been a while since it's been repotted. This one, Mini Mark, we've got a side cakey. Where are we? Come here, you brute. And on this cakey you can see, it's going off. On this cakey you can see all the mealy bugs, and it's caused a split on this leaf, and there's another leaf down in there, it's all curled up. Mealy bugs really are bad news if you've got a really bad infestation, and these both have. So they've not been repotted for a while, they need to come out, especially that one. So I'm going to do the two of them now, and we'll see what we find, and that's all you can say. So I'll move this one out of the way for a start, and we'll do the other one. So the more eagle-eyed of you will have noticed I'm wearing gloves today. Why is that? I've never bothered before. Very simple. As you know, I've not been very well at all since the middle of February really, and it's now the 15th of August, and it turns out that I've developed an autoimmune problem called vasculitis, which means my immune system attacks my blood vessels, particularly in my legs. So I've not been able to get a lot of these done, I've not been up to it. Now that I'm feeling much more like myself, I can now start doing this. Because for this week I don't happen to have umpteen hospital appointments, which has been the other problem I've had. But these really do need doing. So why am I wearing gloves? Because I'm on steroids. I've been on steroids for a while to suppress my immune system, which is why I'm feeling a lot better. Long-term steroid use is not good, so they're moving on to me another immunosuppressant drug, which is has fewer long-term side effects. I mean, any of these drugs, if you look at them, it'd drive you mad. But no, with these, I'm not going to have, they hope, as serious long-term health issues. But nevertheless, because my immune system is suppressed, I'm more likely to pick up infections, diseases. I've got to wear sun protection factor 50 if I go outside and the weather is bright. I've got to wear a sun hat virtually all the time. So that, because of the potential risk of skin cancer. So yeah, gloves is something, I don't know what I'm doing with these. I don't know what bugs are on the bark. So we'll get these out the pot and we'll have a look. But this is ragged with Mealy's. They're all, I've sprayed it earlier on today, and although I didn't realise I'd left that in there, we've got this peat plug. I repotted it once. I obviously didn't spot these then because the other one's the same, so I'll have those out for a start, because it certainly isn't doing it any good. And I've watered this, and the feeling I've got here is this is not taking water up as it should. So yeah, we're going to end up trimming a fair amount of root, I think. Certainly lower down, these are pretty dead, but that's alright. I need to get it lower in the pot anyway. Such roots as it's trying to produce are higher up. Do I put them both in the same pot again? Probably not. I'm not sure it's worked, so that yeah, this has been left. Oh, there's a Mealy that he hasn't actually touched because that was down underneath where the pot would have been. So yeah, there's quite a lot of dead roots down there. So I've just got to hope that it is producing roots, this one. I'm going to take the spike off both of them. This one is exactly the same. It looks a bit more vigorous. We've got roots showing on this more than the other, but as you can see, the whole top of the plant has got mealy bugs in and around and all over, so it's really not very clever. I can only really blame my health for this, but you know, I have lost some plants because of it. While I was in hospital, I had to leave the watering to my wife. She did her best. There's another mealy bug in the pot there. So it's certainly true that little swines go down into the pot where you can't get at them. I'm not altogether sure how you're supposed to get rid of them once they get down there, but presumably they go down into the bark and what have you to lay their eggs. So it's no real wonder that you can't kill them all off in one go, and goodness only knows how this is going to end up. But I think I'm going to grab a jug and some rainwater. I have tried to water these earlier on today. I knew they were pretty bad, but I thought with the amount of spraying that I've done, I would have been on top of this mealybug problem, and it's just not happened. It really hasn't. So I think all I can do now is try and repot them into something a lot smaller. I think I've got some pots that will do, and also trim these roots. I'm going to give it a soak, hopefully with a bit of drown some of these mealybugs, but I'm going to take the spikes off because although there's flowers to come, and I do like this plant, I think it needs all its strength to grow back again. So take the spikes off, repot it, and I'll come back shortly. Okay, back again. I've found a couple of pots this size, quite a lot smaller than they were in, which look like they're going to do these fine. I've had these orchids in soak, so hopefully their roots will be nice and flexible. and I'm going to use the ordinary orchid focus bark, which I tend to use as my standard unless there's a good reason not to, because it's readily available and it's cheap. It's a reasonable sort of size. So start off, put it at the bottom. And we'll just take one of these. As I say, it has been sprayed. It's been watered today anyway, but it'll need looking at again, I think, when we get there. But that is going to go quite nicely in there. I can get it down a little bit further by screwing it around like that. And really it's just going to be a matter of the usual Phalaenopsis type repot. Keep going round and round with the bark. Use your fingers and thumb to get the bark down tight. I know it's a bit counterintuitive. You can hear all sorts of crunchy noises and what have you, and it's frightening, but I am assured, and it certainly seems to be borne out by my own experience, that what you're hearing is the bark crunching, not the plant. Some people say that you should be able to pick the pot up by the plant. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I will happily attest that I've never apparently damaged any of my plants by doing this kind of thing. I hope, as I say, that by repotting it I'll have got rid of anything that was in that other compost, eggs, juveniles. I've sprayed the plant with the systemic insecticide earlier on. You can tell you've got the Mealys. You sometimes have to look at them under a magnifying glass. I've got a 20 times jeweler's loop, which is quite small and it's okay to keep in here, but a bit easier to use than the average, you know, what most people would recognise as a magnifying glass. But that lets you look at the animals on the plant, and if they're white, they're alive. If when you get them under a magnifying glass they're sort of a pinky brown, they're dead. It's as simple as that. But that appears to be it. Just need to put some date markers in there. I mean, you can still see the beasts down in there. There was one there, but they're dead or dying. Certainly, they're not up to very much. So that's done those two. So all I need to do now is sort out some date labels for them, so that I know when they were repotted, which is the 15th of August 2023. I'll do the other one in a separate video, I think. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, it's one of those things, don't do as I say, do as I do as I say, not as I do. Because if you mustn't let mealybugs get this kind of a hold on your plants, they can kill them. I've had them kill particularly Phalaenopsis before. They can really take the steam out of them. So I say, for goodness sake, if you see mealybugs, get a systemic insecticide and spray it as much as the pack allows you to, and after that there are soap based sprays. I use one called SB Invigorator. That's a contact killer, not a systemic killer, so you've got to spray more often, but that is not going to damage your plants and it isn't going to produce insecticide resistant mealies. So I'll say again, thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon with the next repotting video.